What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be making my UFC 313 predictions. So, the start of the card, Chris Gutierrez versus John Castaneda. Both of these guys were getting ready to fight soon, but John Castaneda actually cut weight last week and he made weight for a fight, and then his opponent pulled out. Um, I think he's a very good technical striker. He's got nice kicks. He's very fast, man. He's got decent boxing. But I think Chris Gutierrez is just better everywhere. I think he's got very dangerous low kicks, and he's really just fought some of the best people in the division, and he's hung in there with them. Like he lost to Song Yadong, but he went to decision with him. That's better than Ricky Simone could say. Um, that's better than a lot of people could say. So I think Chris Gutierrez is just a little bit better. I think he's a crisper striker. I think he will get a decision win. But on to the next fight. Ozzy Diaz versus Jordan Santos. I'm gonna be going with Jordan Santos. I feel like this is a pretty easy pick. Ozzy Diaz is just not a good fighter. There's a reason that he's lost. He's got knocked out twice in 2 years. Now that doesn't sound that bad. It is to Joe Pyfer and fucking Zhang Ming Yang, but he just hasn't beaten anybody good. I don't think he looks very good in any of his fights. Usually, even when he wins. And I think Jordan Santos on the Contender Series, he really impressed me. I couldn't find any of these other fights, but he fought on the Contender Series not too long ago. He did impress me. His boxing is very nice. He's got good straight punches, good hooks, and good uppercuts. Just good boxing overall. Um, he's got good takedown defense. He's not afraid to clinch with you. He will shoot takedowns on you. So I think he's a very well-rounded fighter, and I think his striking is just much better than Ozzy Diaz. So I think he'll go out there and beat Ozzy Diaz up and get a round two TKO. But on to the next one. Myron Santos versus Francis Marshall. Now, I'm going to be going with Myron Santos. Um, Francis Marshall, I just don't think he's that good. He does kind of he like just blitzes forward when he's striking. I don't think his defense is that great. You can see down here split decision with Dennis Bazooka, who I really don't think is that great. He got destroyed by Isaac Bulgarian on the ground. He is a pretty boring fighter. He does like to just clinch up against the cage. I think Myron Santos, when he's fighting, he's very calm. It seems like he's actively thinking about what he's doing. He's not just fighting on instinct. Um, he's got very nice hands, good kicks. Everything he throws is pretty snappy. He's got a lot of power. In his last fight, he knocked Khan Ofli out. And Muhammad Naimov, who I think is a pretty good fighter, went to a pretty like mid decision with Khan Ofli. So I think that is a pretty impressive win. Um, I'm going to go with Myron Santos by an early round two knockout. He's very patient. I think he's got a clear striking advantage, and I don't see Francis Marshall being able to take him down and control him. I think Myron Santos is a very good fighter. He did get TKO'd by Dan Argueta, but that was a long time ago. I think he's a different fighter now. Um, I think he's shown major improvements through the years, and I think he's very good. So I'm going to go with him by a TKO round two. I think as Francis Marshall closes distance, I think Santos counters him with a left hook or some punch like that, maybe a right hand or left hook, and I think he drops him, follows up with ground and pound, and gets a nice TKO. On to the next fight. Alex Morono versus Carlos Leal. This is an easy one, dude. Carlos Leal is a fucking roided monster beast of a human. Alex Morono is flabby. He looks like a PE teacher. He's got a good guillotine. He's pretty crafty. He's a veteran. He's fought a lot of people, but you're losing to Nico Price in 2024. I'm not picking you to beat Carlos Leal. I think Carlos Leal is going to go out there and blast Alex Morono with a right hand on the chin and knock him out cold. That is what I think is going to happen. I don't think Alex Morono is good. I don't think he's just not good, man. He's just not a dangerous human being. Like I know he'd whoop my ass. Um but in general, compared to other UFC fighters, he's just not a dangerous human. He's got no athleticism. Um Carlos Leal on the other hand is very athletic, explosive, powerful, and he's well rounded. I thought he beat Renat Fakhretdinov. Most people thought he did. Um, and that's a very tough debut. So I got to go with Leal. But on to the next one, Bruno Ferreira versus Armin Petrosian. I am going to be going with Bruno Ferreira by KO. He's an underdog, but not really. I mean, he's like the people's favorite, as you can see down here. 75% of people are picking him. I think in his last fight, he tried to rush the finishes when he hurt Abbas Magomedov. He hurt him on several occasions, and he really tried to rush the finishes, and then he got taken down. I don't think Armin Petrosian can take him down. I don't even think he's going to try. And 15 minutes is just an extremely long time to be in there with Bruno Ferreira and not get caught. And I think Armin Petrosian, his chin is not that great. He just is coming off a knockout loss. I think Bruno Ferreira is not as good at him as striking, but I do like his boxing. I think he's very powerful. He's got fast hands, and I think he's going to go out there and catch Armin Petrosian with a big left hand and put him to sleep. This is a pretty good underdog to bet on. If you're betting, like, consider sprinkling a little bit of money on this guy, Bruno Ferreira. I think he's good. Albus Magomedov is very good. He's a very well-rounded fighter. That's a tough guy to fight in general. So I don't, take too much away from Bruno Ferreira for that fight. And he lost to Nursultan Ruziboyev, but Nursultan is also very good. So I got to go with Bruno Ferreira. I think it's a good pick. Sprinkle a little bit of money on him if you're betting. Don't blame me if you lose, though. It's your money, your choice, okay? Don't blame me. On to the next fight, Ray Soria versus Josh Van. This is also an easy pick for me. I might be a little bit biased because my favorite types of fighters are fighters like Josh Van, the very boxing-heavy fighters like Ilia Topuria, Jack Della Maddalena, Esteban Ribovic, Joshua Van. These kind of fighters are my favorite. But I think Ray Soria is a very good grappler, and he's got some nice kicks, and that's about it. And even his grappling, if he wasn't able to, finish Carlos Hernandez, I don't think you're finishing Joshua Van. I don't even think he's taking Joshua Van down. Joshua Van stuffed like every takedown from Cody Durden. He's got amazing takedown defense, and he's just very calm and composed on the feet. His boxing is elite. He's one of the best boxers at flyweight. He mixes up his body shots and his head shots very well. And every punch he throws is dangerous. He doesn't have crazy power, but he's very accurate, and he strings together long combinations and kind of just breaks you down throughout the fight. And he's very patient. So I feel like Ray Soria is going to go into the fight feeling like he needs to get a finish because Joshua Van is very dangerous. And Ray Soria did take this on short notice. So I think he's going to go in the fight urgent, needing to get a finish, and I think Joshua Van will be very calm and composed. I think he'll stuff every takedown, and I think he's going to break Ray Soria's face. So I'm going with Joshua Van by TKO, round 2. I think he'll get Ray Soria up against the fence, land a nasty, like, 4-punch combo, couple body shots, then go up top and get a nice TKO against Ray Soria. But on to the next one. Curtis Blades versus Rizvan Kuniev. This is obvious for me. I'm going with my boy Curtis Razor Blades, dude. I think he's going to knock Rizvan Kuniev out in the first round. Maybe a big 1-2. Rizvan Kuniev, he's good in the clinch. He's got pretty good pretty good striking. He's got some nice kicks. He's pretty fast, like deceptively fast for what he looks like. I mean, he's a blob. But I think Curtis Blades just has too much UFC experience. Like, he just fought Tom Aspinall for the title, and now he's fighting a fat guy who tested positive for PEDs. I don't think Rizvan Kuniev can take Curtis Blades down. I don't think he can knock him out on the feet. It is heavyweight. Anything can happen. So he could knock Curtis Blades out, but I'm very confident that Curtis Blades is not going to get knocked out. And I think he will put a 1-2 on Rizvan Kuniev's chin, drop him, follow up the ground and pound, and get a TKO. I think if they're wrestling, Curtis Blades is the better wrestler. I think he can get takedowns. I think he can get in dominant positions on the ground and land nasty ground and pound. He has some of the best ground and pound at heavyweight. So everywhere the fight goes, I think Curtis Blades is better. This is an easy fight for him, and I like to see it because I want him to get a win. So I'm going with Curtis Blades by TKO in round 1. But on to the next fight. Bobby Green, fuck King. I'm not calling you King, dude. Bobby Green versus Mauricio Huffy. or Rufy, however you want to say it. Um, I gotta go with Rufy by KO in round one. Easy pick for me. Bobby Green. I don't want to sound like a hater because I really do like Bobby Green, but he's old. He's got no chin, and he fights with his hands by his waist. Um, I think Mauricio Rufy is going to sleep him with the right hand. As Bobby Green comes forward trying to throw punches, I think Mauricio Rufy is going to plant a right hand right on his chin and sleep him. He likes to throw over the top of people's jabs. I could see that. And I could also see him just catching Bobby Green while Bobby Green is backing up, brings his head back in a straight line, and he dings Bobby Green right on the chin and sleeps him. I think it might be similar to the Jalen Turner fight. Mauricio Huffy is just too accurate. He's too fast and he's too powerful for me to not pick him. His striking is just elite. His timing is amazing. So this is an easy pick for me. I gotta go with Huffy to get a KO. I will be extremely surprised if Bobby Green wins. I will say this: if Bobby Green wants to win this fight, I think he needs to try and wrestle. I know he doesn't wrestle in his fights. Just fucking try it. You are an MMA fighter. You've had 50 fucking fights. You can try and wrestle, okay? I think he really should try and take Huffy down. Even if he's not successful, just get it in Huffy's mind to make him hesitate more on the feet. But I don't think it'll work. I think Huffy is going to knock him out cold. And yeah, that's my prediction. Huffy TKO round one. On to the next fight, Amanda Lemos versus Yasmin Lucindo. This is like a polar bear in Texas because the main card starts off with Bobby Green, and then we get here, and it's like, what is this fucking fight? What is it doing on the main card? But I'm going with Amanda Lemos by decision. I think, she's been out-grappled before, but it's against really good grapplers. She was able to survive on the ground against Mackenzie Dern. She got fucked up by Zhang Wei Li. Who did she lose to last? Yeah, Verna Jandiroba. But I don't think Yasmin Lucindo is that good. I think Amanda Lemos has more finishing potential. So I'm going to go with her. I value finishing potential at women's MMA in general. Like you can see, she's got one finish against Polyana Viana, who's got no ground game. I think Amanda Lemos will beat her by decision. But on to the next one, Jalen Turner versus Ignacio Bahamondes. Now, for weeks and weeks, I've been thinking that Ignacio was going to win. But I went back and I watched their fights today, and I think Jalen Turner's going to win, dude. Ignacio Bahamondes is very good. He's a very dangerous fighter, but I don't think his defense is that great, and I don't think his chin is that great. I know you could say the same about Jalen Turner. His durability is not that great. He's not that tough, and he does quit in fights sometimes. Like, he will just quit. But I think he's going to go out there and land a nasty left hand right on Ignacio's chin, drop him, and hopefully follow up with ground and pound this time and get a TKO. I think he's just going to be too fast early on. I think he's very accurate. He's got amazing straight punches. It's going to be an awkward matchup for both guys because they're both used to being like much taller and rangier than their opponents. But I think Jalen Turner's striking is just a little bit better. I think he's more dangerous with his hands. Like, Ignacio is dangerous with his hands. He's got good boxing, but I think Jalen Turner just has more power. And Ignacio, I don't think he's going to be landing head kicks in this fight. So I'm going with Turner by knockout in round one. So I don't think Ignacio, if he tries to implement grappling, is going to be successful because when you look at it, I know Jalen Turner got out-grappled and destroyed by Moicano, but it's Moicano. Moicano is a very good grappler. Like, you can look, Jalen Turner went to a split decision with Gamrot, split decision with Hooker, who I think it is kind of crazy that he didn't finish Hooker with one arm. It's crazy, but I think all those guys are better than Ignacio, and I think all the guys that Ignacio's been fighting are not even close to the level of Jalen Turner. So I think Jalen Turner gets a KO in round one. On to the co-main event. Rafael Fiziev versus Justin Gaethje 2. This is another easy fucking pick for me that I don't understand how other people are not making it. Fiziev by decision. I could even see him getting a TKO. Their first fight was so fucking close. Fiziev could have won it. and Gaethje was in his prime. That was Gaethje's peak, is against Fiziev and Dustin Poirier. That 2 fight run, I think, was his, like, the best he's ever been in the UFC. And Fiziev was able to have such a close fight with him. And people are talking about the short notice for Fiziev. He's been ready to fight since like November. He's in fight shape, but he hasn't had to go through such a brutal training camp that's destroyed his body even more. So I don't think his cardio will be an issue in this fight, like any more than it is usually. He does slow down in the third round, but even in the third round against Gaethje, he wobbled him badly at the start. I think Fiziev is going to go out there. I think his boxing will be a little bit better. I think this time he should be throwing more punches to the body. Um, Look to land uppercuts when Gaethje does his fucking ducking forward shit. Like, he just ducks forward for no reason. That's why his nose got broken against Max Holloway. Dustin Poirier was almost landing some knees that were very close to Gaethje's chin. He does it a lot. I think Fiziev picked up on that in the first time they fought. I think Fiziev, like, in the first fight, in the first round, he was swinging some punches that were missing by like this much. I think those kinds of punches he's going to be landing now because Gaethje is older. He's going to be slower. He's not in his prime anymore. He just got knocked out cold for the first time ever. All his TKO losses, they're like, oh, he got TKO'd, but he was still kind of with it. It's Justin Gaethje. You can never count him out. This one, he was out cold having seizures on the ground. Whether he admits it or not, that is going to have an effect on your confidence. I think he's going to be more timid this fight. I think Fiziev will be able to land punches that he wasn't able to land in the first fight. I think he'll be able to hurt Gaethje. I think he'll be able to drop him. So I think he's going to go out there, drop Gaethje in round one, win round one, drop Gaethje in round two, hurt him bad, but Gaethje will recover and survive. And then I think Gaethje will win round three, but I think it will be more competitive than it was the last time in round three. Fiziev, I think he could even win round three this time. I just think, I think he'll stick to a game plan more this time too and be more patient. Like in the last fight with Gaethje, he every time he heard the crowd roaring, he would go crazy. He wasn't sticking to the game plan. He said that himself. I think this time he knows what it's like to be in there with somebody like Gaethje. And I think he'll be patient. I think he'll be throwing more kicks, and I think he'll be throwing more body shots with his hands. And I just think he's going to beat Gaethje by a pretty dominant decision. I don't understand picking Gaethje in this fight. Maybe I'm crazy. I could be nuts. But I think Fiziev is the pick. But on to the main event. Now, I already have a whole video made about this. But I'll go over it here too. I think Pereira is going to get a TKO in round 3 or 4. Magomed, he's very good at striking. He's very good at grappling. He will take Pereira down. But can he do it for 5 rounds? I don't think so. Can he control Pereira for 5 rounds? No. And can he knock Pereira out? He could, but I don't think he will. Magomed's striking is good, but he does make some errors that get him into trouble a lot, like dropping his right hand when he's throwing his left. I can see Pereira just fucking slamming a left hook right into his chin. And I just think Pereira, he's easy to take. Guys, my mic went off again. But I think Pereira is easy to take down, but he's very hard to get in dominant positions and actually hurt him on the ground or submit him. I don't think Magomed will be able to. And I think once he can't really finish Pereira on the ground, he might start to get tired. And then it's going to be a striking match. And then I think Pereira is just better. Like, obviously, he's better at striking. I think he's going to knock Magomed out in round 4. I think Magomed will have a good performance. I think he'll probably give Alex one of his toughest fights. This is one of the hardest matchups for him, maybe the hardest matchup at light heavyweight. So I think Magomed has a very real chance at winning. But just based on some things that I'm seeing when I watch them fight, I think that Alex Pereira will get the win. But let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoy and have fun watching the card on Saturday. And goodbye.